Hi, I'm Kylie Anne Neal, founder of Kulture, and welcome to Can Talk Culture. In this podcast, I sit down with some of Australia's most progressive founders and CEOs to explore the heart of their company cultures, what drives them, what they value, and what it's really like to work for the companies they lead. You'll also find occasional episodes packed with practical HR insights to help you build safer, stronger, and more trusted workplaces. So whether you're a new team member getting to know your workplace, curious about creating remarkable company cultures, or just wanting to know more about implementing HR best practice, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hi there, and welcome back to Can Talk Culture. I'm your host, Kylie Anne Neal, and today I'm joined by Jessie Tree, the owner and CEO of AusCoast Yacht Management, a Gold Coast-based company making serious waves in the marine industry. With over 15 years of experience, Jessie brings a lifetime of knowledge, hands-on expertise, and a genuine passion for maintaining some of the finest vessels on our coast. From yacht detailing and project management to full-service vessel care, AusCoast has built a strong reputation for professionalism, trust, and team culture. Jessie, welcome to the Can Talk Culture podcast.
Thanks for having me, Kylie.
So let's hear a bit about you first. Can you just talk us through your background and what made you think of starting AusCoast Yacht Management?
Well, I think I realised that I wasn't wired to work for anyone. That's the first thing. But I started on the container ships and tugboats pretty well straight after I finished my apprenticeship. So I finished an apprenticeship in carpentry 2012. Went and worked in the commercial sector on the ship, and then I transitioned into the white boats in, I think it was 2016, and then started running a couple of private boats for some individuals out of Melbourne, and then myself and my partner, I met Jamie in 2017, and then we hitched up in 2018. And then we both decided we didn't want to be crew on yachts.
Right.
So then essentially we were looking to come home and stop living out of a suitcase. So I started with a company called Ocean Alexander Marine Australia in, I think it was 2018 it was, as a service and warranty manager. And then I realised a lot of the warranty claims that we were getting for these yachts were due to lack of planned and preventative maintenance. So I saw this gap in the market and I thought, bugger it, I'll give it a go. So I registered the business 2020 it was, and then end of 2020, start of 2021.
Fantastic. So talk to me more about what that gap in the market was that you identified.
It always baffled me that we'd hand over a $10+ million yacht and say, call me when there's a warranty issue. Like, it just, to me, it didn't make sense. So I kept pushing this agenda for the planned and preventative maintenance. So go, well, here we are, tipping champagne over the front of the boat and congratulating these people, but there was no sort of support in my eyes and what you needed to do to keep the boat at a higher value, so your warranty claims weren't so bad, et cetera, et cetera. So then I saw this bit of a gap in the market. I realised when I started playing around on private boats, none of them had been maintained, especially considering I'd come from the commercial world where everything was just, to a top-notch, degree of maintenance. But that's where I went out and thought, bugger it, I'll give it a go, and started looking at different software packages all around the world, and then come to this company called Seaflux, which was a startup company in New Zealand, and then I sort of thought, bugger it, I'll go and start up this Seaflux thing. Start my business in conjunction with Seaflux, and then start systematically building, a maintenance system for these boats. But we sort of diverted onto the Seaflux scene, and then we shied away from it soon thereafter. But yeah,
so it's quite unique what you do.
Oh, look, I think it's unique in the scale. It's quite easy to run and maintain just one boat for a skipper. It becomes quite difficult when you've got a fleet. Because when you're a skipper of one boat, you know that boat intricately. But then when you've got 30-something boats you manage, that's where it gets really tricky, because you lose that connection of that one-on-one with the boat. So that's been our biggest difficulty with the business, is trying to get everyone to take boat ownership sort of thing. So that's the direction the business has taken recently. But yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So over the last 5 years, you have grown a team.
Yep.
You have engaged Culture to help you with your HR.
Yeah.
Let's talk about AusCoast Yacht Management from a team perspective. So talk us through how would you summarise the growth of the team? As with any business, there's always ups and downs, but to what comes to mind when you think about the team journey over the last 5 years?
Look, we've had some peaks and troughs, but one thing I've realised is with the team, with trades, whatever we deal with, if you make it fun, you get a better result. So you got to make it fun. Like the banter we've got in our business, as you've seen, is borderline illegal.
Borderline.
Yeah. But you spend so much time with these people. The office girl. I spend more time with Megs than I do my partner. Yeah. So you need to have that sort of that banter. You need to have a bit of fun. You need to create that culture where they're with you more than your own family. You need to have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And that's what I've really tried to build. And one thing I learnt over the last sort of 3 years in particular, as the team scaled up, was you needed to dangle a carrot. I've mentioned this many times, but you needed to dangle a carrot. You can't have people come to work and do the same monotonous shit every single day. There needs to be light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. And
we had a huge staff rollover, probably up until 18 months ago, and then obviously that's when you guys come on the scene. And I was trying to build something that took a young guy from being a yacht detailer right through to becoming a skipper.
Yep.
So that's essentially what we've tried to do.
Yeah. Fantastic. And you have a lot of passion for the career pathway that we have creating, kind of is in motion. But, I think it is a real passion of yours, and it is a real joy for people like me that come from a people and culture perspective to see that passion in a business owner, to want to create something that hasn't been done before in the industry, wanting to create something really, really unique. So just talk us through briefly, like what the career pathway is for you.
Well, like I said, when I started on a yacht in I think it was 2017. Essentially, I went down for a job interview down on Sydney Harbour. It was on the 30th of December. Yeah, I think it was 2017. Might have been 16. And went down, as applying for this skipper's role. And essentially, I'd never worked on yachts. I had a passion for yachts, but I didn't know them intricately. I didn't know the systems, and basically, I had the tickets to run these boats, but I didn't know much other than that. So I went down for this job interview, and the owner of the yacht said, "Yeah, beautiful, everything checks out. Can you start tomorrow?" And it was New Year's Eve on Sydney Harbour, which is like, as a skipper, the most manic, night of the year. And so I basically started the next day, and it was like a holy shit moment. All of a sudden you're this kid, and then the next minute you got 30 guests on a boat in Sydney Harbour, and the boat's worth how many millions of dollars, and no one had taught me how to run it. Like, I knew how to drive it, I knew enough about it, but at the same time, my whole career ever since has been, no one teaches you how to actually run a boat. Yep. No one teaches you the ins and the outs. Like, everything that I've learned, I've done my own research, and I've bounced off the trades, and in particular that role I had with Alexander Marine in the warranty sector. You only learn from failures and the issues that you have. So, as frustrating as it was at the time, every time we've had a problem with the boat, you walk out with a bit more knowledge.
Yep.
So so that sort of got me thinking when obviously I started the business and the business started to scale up and we were having issues with staff retention. I thought, bugger it, we had some really good young fellas that I could see were gonna go places, but we needed to guide them, and that's when I sort of started thinking about the career pathways, and start as a yacht detailer. Hate to break it to them, but you got to start at the bottom. It's a shit job, but you got to do it, because as you move up the ladder, the guys that are going to work below you, like they're going to try and pull the wool over your eyes, and I have done it, So, and you can't talk with experience if you haven't done it.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what we've tried to build, and I think it's been a winning formula. Like, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
It'll be evolving till I'm 100, but it'll never stop evolving. But I think it's a bit of a foundation for getting young guys and girls to sort of work up to where we want to be.
Yeah. Have you been around yachts your whole life? Where did this passion come from?
I was lucky. I grew up on the Bayside in Brisbane. Pretty privileged sort of an upbringing. I was a tinny rat from, I think, 12 Christmas when I was 12 or 11 or whatever it was. Mum and Dad, or Santa Claus, bought me a 3.1 metre Quintrex nipper with a 6 horsepower Mariner on the back. That's where it all started. And yeah, I was lucky. I grew up, like I said, Bayside, Brisbane, and my parents' house was actually on a little private marina. So there was actually 16 berths out the back of Mum and Dad's place. And yeah, I was the annoying kid that every time someone would walk down to their boat, I'd just roll down. You need a decky, So yeah, that's where it all sort of started, and then I always knew I'd end up in a career with boats. That's just it was an absolute given. Like, when I started my apprenticeship, I was counting down the days till it was over so I could go and start on boats. And then literally the day I walked out of my out of the Blue Dog training for my carpentry apprenticeship, I walked straight out of there. I went home, and I remember I booked and paid for my skipper's ticket down in Sydney.
Yeah.
So I'd saved up, I think I'd saved up $13,500 at the end of my apprenticeship, and my course was 12. So I was gone. But then, went down to Sydney, did my Master 5 in, that must have been 2012, I think it was. And then started the career on the yachts.
Yeah. Amazing.
That was good.
And what part of that passion do you love about going to work every day?
I think the business has got to where it is because of the passion that I've got, and that's been quite a tricky thing to scale up a business, not necessarily having people with the same sort of passion. That's been quite a tricky thing, but trying to put forward those key players that do have the same passion, and trying to put them in roles where they're stimulated and the clients feel like they're getting best bang for dollar. And
you not just maintain the boats when they're moored, but you also take them out on charter.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously my background as a skipper. So that's essentially what I get paid to do. But we've got crew. We've got crew in Airlie Beach. We've got crews basically full time on these boats. We've got a couple of boats heading to New Zealand at the end of this year. Yeah. And we got stews and deckies and skippers and whatever. On board these things. But that's what we do.
Tell us what it's like out there when you're on a charter.
Very long days. That's the perks of the job. That it really is. Like, what you don't realise with working on a yacht, a lot of the time your work starts when the yacht gets back to the dock. People have got this vision, like I said before, where they're the ones sitting in the spa bath and in Airlie Beach and drinking pina coladas. It's sorry for the below deck fans, but it's not like that. But it's long days. It's one-on-one with the customers. It's bloody brilliant. I love it. I miss it. But I wish I could do it more.
Yeah. And what are the plans for ACYM?
Obviously it financially used to stimulate me, but I'm not driven by that as much anymore. I'll be honest. I don't really care about the money side of things. What makes me really excited is seeing guys that were the same as me moving up through the ranks and having the support to be able to do what I've done. That makes me excited. Like, we've got couple of young fellas at the moment. One in particular, who's come forward and sort of stepped off the line, and yeah, watching him grow in the short period of time, that's been exciting.
Yeah.
So, and watching the clients, the positive feedback from the clients has been a big thing.
Yeah, amazing.
That's been brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. If we can talk about your leadership style, I'm going to get a bit HR on you for a moment, but the more that you have so much passion, and you have so much passion for the yachts, but you also have so much passion for the pathways that you want to offer for your team, and being able to kind of bottle that up. And it's not like you want to replicate yourself. The world doesn't need two Jessies.
That's a shame.
But what do you think is important if you think about leadership and you think about the team leads and the way that you want them to show up for the whole team every day? What's important to you? What kind of traits do you want them to exhibit? Because it is the essence of ACYM.
The traits. I think I haven't nailed this yet, obviously, but you got to look at how to get the most out of people. That's quite a difficult thing when you're dealing with so many different personalities, as we've seen recently.
Yep.
So some methods work on people and don't work on others. So that's been a big thing for me, is trying to wrap my head around the different characters that you got in the business and what makes them tick.
Yeah.
And it's the thing that I do review quite a lot late at night. Like, some people you use banter, and if they've done something out of line, you jack up the banter and let them know, but hang on, you've stepped out of line. But then there's the other people, you try that, you try the other method, you try this, you try yelling and screaming, and, it's, I don't know how to really explain it, but, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Trying to understand people's personalities.
Yeah.
What makes them tick.
Yeah. 5 years' time, what would you like ACYM to look like?
I actually don't know. Because the business has just taken so many different spin-offs, and it's all headed in the direction that I sort of wanted it to, but there's just so many different facets and different bits and pieces. I never even considered a career pathway when I first started the business. It was all about the planned and preventative maintenance systems, and then as the business grows, you realise, hang on, staff retention's an issue, and then you sort of start thinking about career pathways, and then it runs into other issues, and then you come back to software, and the way my brain works, but in 5 years' time, I'd like to have a scaled up version of what we got now, but much more streamlined. That's, I think the service that we offer is probably pretty good. Obviously every business can fine tune, but what we do now in a scaled up version would be unreal. To get like-minded individuals together and sort of achieve an outcome. That to me is probably where I want to see the business go.
Okay. Jessie, if you had a new starter starting today and they were listening to this podcast, what would you say to them?
I would show them what they could do, if they had the passion and the drive, where they could be. So day one, I'd map out a rough career pathway and what I'd sort of expect from them.
Yep.
And then the rest is up to them.
So if ACYM were a song, what song would it be and why?
Titanic.
You can't call a yacht management company Titanic.
Sinking ship. Living on a prayer. I don't know. Yeah, there's plenty that come to mind. Probably not for a podcast. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you got a few classics there.
Yeah. No, we'll leave it at that.
Depending on the day, hey? Yeah. That's a wrap on today's episode of Can Talk Culture. A huge thank you to Jessie Tree for coming in today and sharing the story behind AusCoast Yacht Management and the incredible work that he and his team do every day. Until next time, I'm Kylie Anne Neal, and thanks for listening to the Can Talk Culture podcast. Thanks for joining me on Can Talk Culture. I'm Kylie Anne Neal. I hope today's episode gave you a clearer view into the values driving your workplace or sparked new ideas about building a remarkable company culture. If you're a founder or CEO interested in sharing your culture story, or if you're looking to build a safer, stronger, and more trusted workplace, let's connect. Visit canculture.com. That's KANKULTURE.com to learn more. Please hit that subscribe button to hear more real conversations with founders and CEOs and hands-on episodes full of people-first culture advice. I look forward to connecting with you on our next episode.